أنا شاب من سوريا ولدت في دمشق.
I'm from Damascus, Syria. I'm 17 years old.
خرجت من سوريا بسبب وفاة
I
عائلتي.
lost my parents in the war.
مررت بطريقي إلى تركيا.
I first fled to Turkey and was there for 4 months. I was very angry in Turkey because people there are extremely racist against Syrians. Almost my entire family is dead. My one brother is all I have left. He's in Europe and I want to go to him. But I don't know when I can leave here. I'm waiting for permission.
سيئة لا يوجد إيجابيات. من قبل يعني كان في
Life in the camp is bad. It's too full.
مخدرة.
Some people take drugs or get drunk. They're out of control.
ضايقنا تزعجنا كل هالشيء لهلا موجود.
They hit us and our containers are wrecked.
داخل الكونتينر لا في شبابيك.
There are no windows, the doors are broken.
بعض شباب مع بعض شباب وعلقوا.
I'm frightened, especially at night.
بين مرحلة القاصرين.
It gets so cold at night. We have hardly any drinking water. And in the evenings, there's only cold water to shower with. We all got sick.
At the refugee reception centre on the island of Samos, Lena Perperaki encounters such problems every day. The psychologist works with unaccompanied minor asylum seekers. The camp currently holds 3 times as many people as it was designed for, and new people continue to arrive every day despite the Balkan corridor having been closed. The asylum seekers are not allowed to leave the island. Many have had to settle on the edges of the overfilled camp, where they live under deplorable conditions. Lena Perperaki works for the Greek NGO Metadrasi. Roughly translated, that means to look after later. Once, there were more helpers than residents. Now, almost all funds have stopped and hardly any helpers remain. Metadrasi only looks after minors separated from their families.
Oh, look, there's a nice surprise today. Metadrasi has sent us clothes and shoes. We asked for them a long time ago.
Many things are lacking within the camp. Lena Perperaki goes to fetch one of her NGO's translators to speak with the minors. To keep them safe, Metadrasi has requested neither their faces or names are made public. Young people come to see Lena even before she has made her way to their containers. This young man from Afghanistan apparently gave an incorrect age when he arrived at the reception centre. Now Lena Perperaki explains he will have to be examined by a doctor. Often the minors here have been marked by their experiences. They are lost and traumatized.
We've had suicidal children and lots of kids self-harm by cutting themselves, for instance. They seek attention. They want someone to come to them and care for them. But what can we do to ensure that a minor who self-harms doesn't seriously injure himself or even put his life at risk, even if that wasn't his intention?
Several of the boys want to get to Central or Northern Europe. Some even have fully formed plans and are well informed regarding their rights as unaccompanied minors.
Because we are minors, they should be responsible for us. They should make some good place for us.
I explained, how many times did I tell you? There are no free spaces. Right now in the mainland, there are a lot of kids, a lot of unaccompanied minors who are without a shelter.
So I know, but...
homeless.
Greece only has proper accommodation for 1,000 minors. A further 2,500 underage asylum seekers live in camps. Some are in police custody. Many have relatives in Central Europe and want to join them there. By law, once a minor has been approved for family reunification, Greece has to send him or her to the receiving country within 6 months. Hardly any minors want to stay in Greece, especially not in the camps.
I'm all alone. I think it might be easier to bear staying here if you had your family, but my parents are dead. I expected to get out of here after 3 months at most. I feel helpless. There's nothing I can do to change things.
When you are forced to live in a camp like this one, time passes far too slowly, especially for a 17-year-old with no money to buy or do anything. Every 3 days, a boat brings food from the mainland. Meals are served straight from the fridge in the camp. And people have 1.5 litres of water to drink per day. Many don't like the food. Those who still have money often throw it away, attracting mice and rats.
The
most important thing for the EU would be to finance shelters for minors again, so that children have a safe place to stay, with proper food and access to healthcare. Secondly, the EU should pressure member states to at least speed up family reunification. If there's a child whose mother is in Germany and that child has all the necessary documents to go to her, then it's inhumane to make that child wait here for 6 months or more, after it has already spent 3 months in Turkey and made the life-threatening journey across the Aegean Sea to Greece. And all the while the mother is waiting in Germany. It should be possible to take no more than a month to find out where in Europe a child's family is and to send that child to them immediately. A child needs to be able to begin its new life straight away.
But the countries many asylum seekers hope to reach someday are stalling the application processes. Some refuse to accept any asylum seekers, leaving the migrants and refugees with no option other than waiting. Sometimes they wait an entire year, unprotected and at risk of violence. 43 boys, 16 and 17-year-olds, live in this section of the camp, from Syria, Afghanistan, Pakistan, the Ivory Coast and Somalia.
Around 1 month ago, there was a serious incident. Arabic-speaking adults armed with crowbars, sticks and fire broke into the miners' containers. They caused a lot of damage.
This video was filmed by miners inside one of the containers at the time of the attack.
By
the time police arrived, much had already been broken. Maybe there were personal differences, or perhaps religious tensions between the ethnic groups led to the clash. It started off with minor things, but culminated in lots of people rioting. The container where the kids from Afghanistan stay was hit especially hard. Their beds, the windows, everything was destroyed. We found temporary accommodation for the children. Now things have calmed down again. We're waiting for the repair costs to be approved. The containers need to be replaced or renovated. The biggest problem is that the windows are broken, and that means the boys are exposed to cold and rain. For now, they've put blankets across the windows to protect themselves.
Punch and you kick the container.
He says he struck the container and in the process injured his hands and leg. Because he's been waiting here for his papers for 6 months already and feels nobody is doing anything to help.
All the procedures take a long time, you're gonna hurt yourself. Είναι παιδιά ζυμωμένα μέσα στον πόλεμο.
These children are from war zones. Sometimes they're aggressive. Sometimes they're incredibly patient. When they talk about their dead parents, their dead siblings, or bomb attacks that destroyed their schools and homes and killed other kids from their neighbourhood, it's like they're describing a film. It's their way of distancing themselves, as if they weren't part of their own story. At the same time, they can start crying because of a scratch or because their shoes are too big. It's as if puberty were hitting them twice or 3 times as hard.
Some of the adult residents have abused this boy from Syria a number of times. Lena Perperaki went with him to the police 3 days ago.
You don't have to lock yourself in the container. But don't go down to town alone. Make sure you always have your cell phone on you. If something happens, even if you can't talk, try to call my number. I'll come and find you in the camp straight away.
The psychologist can't be in the camp 24/7. Back in town, 14 unaccompanied minors under the age of 15 are waiting for her in a shelter run by her organisation. In places, Samos lies just 1,500 meters off the Turkish coast. On all the Greek islands with refugee camps, the situation is just as bad. The town, Vathi. Back when the refugee crisis first began, almost everyone on Samos helped out. But since the controversial 2016 EU-Turkey deal came into effect, less migrants are moving on to mainland Europe, and they also aren't returning to Turkey. The once welcoming locals have begun to resent the agreement. The town has only 6,500 residents, while 2,500 asylum seekers live in the camp overlooking Vathi. People here are demonstrating for the camp above the town to be closed. The protest was organised by Samos SOS, a radical group whose members include far-right residents and overwhelmed locals. They are demonstrating against the EU-Turkey deal. A priest from the Greek Orthodox Church is also present, as are several refugees. They have joined the far-right group because they share its goal. They want to get off the island. Samos SOS claims NGOs are keeping asylum seekers on the island longer than necessary in order to make money. The mood is tense. Lena Perperaki has a measured outlook. She says most residents of Samos are not against refugees. Still, she has to protect her boys. The shelter for the under 15-year-olds lies inside the city. Its location is kept secret. No one is allowed to leave the shelter today. A path leading to a house in which a family could live. A wish on a drawing made by a child within the shelter. The psychologist Lena Perperaki and the Metadrasi team help in every way they can. But only 14 boys can live in their Samos shelter, those who are most traumatized and who could not possibly stay in the camp. The youngest boy who arrived here was only 2 years old. He had been separated from his parents during their journey.
Δεν νομίζω ότι υπάρχει μάνα που αφήσει το παιδί της να βγει στο δρόμο στα χέρια ενός διακινητή.
I don't think any mother would give her children to smugglers or let them go on an overcrowded dinghy out onto the rough sea, not unless their lives were in immediate danger.
Να χαθεί. Πολλές φορές πληρώνουν ό,τι έχουν και δεν έχουν.
That's why they take those risks and sell all they have to be able to send their kids to Europe. In their homelands, people are persecuted or even killed. Here, there is hope. If I were a mother, I would choose hope as well.
In the shelter, questions about personal histories and war experiences are forbidden for the safety of the boys. This 15-year-old is from Syria.
I lived in the camp for 1 month, but you can't call that living. It's nothing like life here, where we have a roof over our heads and are kept warm and sheltered. Here they cook for us, and we're allowed to go to school. I'm learning English. People in the camp aren't living.
The NGO runs 4 shelters in Greece. It would need 150 more to take in all of the unaccompanied minors in the country. Metadrasi used to have a 5th shelter in Thessaloniki, but it had to recently close it because of insufficient funds. Lena says Greece doesn't have the means to provide asylum seekers with humane conditions.
Greece's economy has been weak for 7 years now. It can't even guarantee food for its own children. Many young people are leaving for other countries to find work, either within Europe or on to other continents. Especially Greek people between 20 and 35. Often it's those who have university degrees who leave, meaning we don't have enough skilled workers. For refugees looking to build a new life here, finding a job and home is really hard.
Meals are cooked for the children in the shelter. As they have an official place of residence, they can attend local schools. And still, even these kids want to leave the island to join their families.
I want to go to my brothers in Sweden. I've been kept here for 8 months. But why? I don't mind going to school, but I don't understand any Greek. Also, I already went to school for 9 years in Syria, and they've put me into an early grade here. Before, I was taking kickboxing, but the other children's parents complained because they didn't want refugees in the class, so I had to stop. Some Greeks don't want me there. We're stranded here, and I don't know how to leave.
I've been approached a number of times by people who said they can get me out of here illegally if I can pay them. But I'm too scared. It's dangerous. The smugglers aren't Syrian.
In Greece, around 80 unaccompanied minors slip away from camps and shelters every month. Those who do get registered as missing. Some try to travel north by land or via the port of Patras. Others show up among the nearly 3 million inhabitants of Athens. This boy is also Syrian. He's from Aleppo, 15 years old and living illegally in Athens.
I went to the port. There's a place where cars and trucks wait to board the ship. That's where I undid one truck's tarp and my friend and I jumped under. That's how we escaped the island. I was on Kos for 3.5 months. They leave minors in that camp without protection. We were beaten almost every day by Afghans or Pakistanis. I came to Athens 1 month ago, but it's tough for me. I even had to sleep on the streets. I want to go to Germany, to my brother, my aunt, and my uncle. I feel scared in Athens. I hide all the time. I don't have papers, so I have to always be on the lookout for the police. I don't want to be sent to jail for several months.
But in Athens, unaccompanied minors feel they are closer to their goal. They don't want to wait anymore and don't trust the legal family reunification process. They are, however, kept updated about their applications by NGO employees who meet them unofficially. And in case the legal family reunification process doesn't get them out of Greece, they can always turn to the many smugglers in Athens who sell fake passports to children or offer to smuggle them out via new illegal routes. A key meeting point is Victoria Square in the heart of Athens. For these children, the square is a dangerous waiting room for going further north.
There's an old man who lives by Victoria Square. He's a foreigner with a Greek passport. He approached my friend and me once and said, "I'll give you money if you come home with me." We pushed him off and ran away. I was on my way home when that happened to me on Victoria Square.
Everyone in Athens knows what goes on after nightfall on the square. There are drug dealers and even underage prostitution. This man has been making the rounds for hours and surveilling the boys. Is he a pimp or a prospective customer? Either way, he won't have to play hardball if there is a minor looking to earn money to pay a smuggler. One 17-year-old from Afghanistan who has been prostituting himself wants to talk to us, but not near Victoria Square. He suggests one of Athens' quiet suburbs. On the way there, he tells us he lives in a camp close to the city with his 10-year-old brother, before they both had to sleep on Victoria Square.
I hate Victoria Square. There they are on every corner. Not just Greeks, but men who speak to us in English too. It's out of desperation. You're forced to do it for little money, for 10 or 20 euros at the most. I need the money for food, clothes and cigarettes. The old men who approach us are lost and lonely. Often they just want to feel physically close to someone. They're full of problems and diseases. My brother is only 10 years old. He doesn't have anyone here but me. I'm responsible for him. I need to make sure he has what he needs. It really upsets me when he wants something and I'm not able to get it for him. I'm so ashamed. I hate myself for this disgrace I've brought over myself. It's burning me up, and I can't talk to anyone about it. We've spent too long in these desperate circumstances, also in Athens.
Back on Samos. Once again, Frontex, the European Border and Coastal Guard Agency, is bringing migrants to the island. Lena Perperaki will be informed whether there are any minors.
When it comes to diseases, prevention is better, more effective and less expensive than treatment. And the same applies to the minor situation. The faster we can help these children get out of the camps and start integrating into society, the earlier we can give them treatment to overcome the trauma they have experienced and make them stronger again, the better it will be, also for the future of Europe. Because these children will be staying in Europe. They will not be going back to the bombs.